Guy Gilrover here with Martha Cardenas-Singh, candidate for our Central City Council. I know you. Everyone knows you. So
Thank you.
I know I want to talk about was, you just recently took a photo, but at the courthouse on the steps with other women candidates.
Yes.
This year you're one of a record number of women running for local seats. What does that mean? Like, when you hear that, what does that mean to you? What, I guess, just share more about that record number of women running for seats in the Imperial Valley this year.
This year has been phenomenal. When we really sat down and took a look at the depth of what that really meant, when we're talking about 34 women that are candidates vying for an actual elected position. And I think what happened as we were having this conversation, because many times we're campaigning and it's part of what we're doing, we didn't really take the time to step back and talk about the historical perspective in regards to what it really meant for Imperial Valley. So as we're having this discussion, we thought this is really important to really have this highlighted. And it's not so much as us women that are running for candidates. It's about the messaging. And the message behind this was, one, it's you have to put yourself out there. You have to be bold and you have to be fearless. And most importantly, you have to be willing to want to be part of the change, to really be involved in regards to whether it's on a school board, on city council, if you're going to be part of a hospital board, making decisions about someone's health, education, or how we run our city from day to day on a day-to-day basis. And so we really wanted to make sure that we took this opportunity to share with our community, with other women, to also encourage them, and young ladies and students, to really take a look at being involved, but also taking action. And taking action meant, 34 women submitted their paperwork and we're ready to take on that challenge. So, in a matter of 24 hours, we started calling all other women that are candidates or running for re-election. And we said, this is important that we have this as a hallmark year in regards to the history of the county. So within 24 hours, we contacted all of our lady friends, colleagues that are running for these positions. And we said, we're going to meet at 8:00 in front of the Imperial County Courthouse, and let's document this event and making sure that everyone has that opportunity to see the depth, to actually see a large amount of women, phenomenal women, standing there on the steps saying, I'm ready to serve, I'm ready to lead, and I'm ready to move our county or our city or our school board forward. A lot of people ask me, Martha, why is it that you're running right now? I mean, with the pandemic and our, budget crisis and having to make really difficult decisions. And I think this is the time for me to run. You run when you're ready to make changes, when you have vision, and when you're innovative about how we're going to navigate the recovery process, whether it's in a health perspective, a budget perspective, a community perspective, a student perspective. This is the time. I know that you are also a school board trustee, and there is no handbook on how to handle a pandemic. And so, it's really having a collective voice and hearing from our stakeholders about how should we proceed forward. You're a business owner, your family own multiple businesses. So, we need to hear from the business perspective, from the business owners in regards to how can we actually do this together? And I know we say that a lot, we're in this together, but we truly are. We truly are in this together, and we need to have those conversations.
Yeah, you talked about, right now it's a tough time. It is. There is no handbook. I wish there was. I wish there was like a tag me out. Alternate. No, but but I think around during times like this is when leaders do step up, right? Where some people, when times were tough, some people may not have run, but when times are tough, you see the leaders step up and say, hey,
Right.
I know I can contribute to my community, my people. And I think that's what's right. It's kind of good and bad about being in a pandemic or being in times of crisis. But you're stepping up. What inspired you, I guess, like you said take that action to put
Right.
yourself out there and and want to be that difference in your community. Continue to be the difference in your community.
I'm going to share with you real quick, being the president of MANA, the Imperial Valley, we knew that things were going to be different in regards to how we worked with students and how we were able to provide opportunities for leadership development, how we did community services, how we worked on advocacy projects. So that really set the framework or the groundwork in regards to having to be proactive, action oriented, and we wanted to make sure that we were still providing those services. So we had to be innovative. So a lot of it had to be done virtually or on Zoom or conference calls, or literally picking up the phone call and just checking in on our members or our business owners or our hermanitas. And so I had that drive and that initiative as president of MANA to make sure that those services and those activities continue to happen. And so I feel that at this point, I'm ready to move forward in regards to being able to provide those services to our residents. And so we have to be innovative. We have to take a look at how do we bring our community together to still have a voice, to have an opportunity to share their concerns. We're not in this, we're not in this alone. Some of our business owners have great stories to share, strategies that they have implemented in their businesses that have been successful. And then as a city council, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're bringing in state and federal funding to be able to provide these types of services to help in the recovery process. So it's a shared responsibility. And I think that that's the message that I want to leave.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of work, communication, planning to navigate us through, not like I said, the next 14 days, the next 28 to the end of the year, but you're ready. You've shown that. So much of being, from my experience, it's just elected is having those networks and having those community, those individuals, those networks to help inform the community. Sometimes it's simply as the community may not know or be informed, and through your networks, you can help them, inform them, and provide them resources. And you've done that. You've done that, Mana. You've done that in your career. You really have made a difference in your community. Now, I feel like this is, like I said, the next logical step, the next step to expand how you serve the residents of El Centro. And so, what is your vision for the city if elected?
I think that that's a great question in regards to where and what my vision is for the city of El Centro. We want to make sure that we have that two-way communication. I'm accessible. Please, I'm asking your viewers if you have any feedback or any concerns. I've heard a lot about the downtown area. That has been a large concern. I've also heard a lot of concerns in regards to our homeless population that unfortunately, have experienced a great depth of hardships. And it's important for us to take a look at providing wraparound services in regards to our homeless. We want to make sure that we're providing the basic elements, having a roof over their head, having shelter, and then assisting with financial assistance to be able to, pay for their food, and if they have medical issues or need a mental health screening, that we provide those services. Working with our homeless, I understand, is a huge responsibility. I worked for behavioral health for 9 years, providing substance abuse and mental health treatment. And so I understand it's not something that is an easy solution. If anything, it means that everyone has to wrap around those services and really assist our individuals who are suffering from homelessness. And we want to be able to provide those types of services. So it's those deep conversations we have to have and how we can help and find a solution. We can't just be moving people around, from one place to another. We have to be able to provide those services. And I think the other third item that has been a large area of discussion is our aquatic center. We want to make sure that our swimming pool is equitable and that every, youth has the opportunity to really benefit from using our beautiful facilities in El Centro without it being at the great cost that it is right now. So we want to make sure that we find solutions. Do we look at community-based grants that would help assist with some of the funding so that families aren't having to pay anywhere between $35 and $50, to have a day out of the pool?
I'm like, man, let's save up. So I know like this. I know the pool. I know it's easy, right, to say, hey, but that is a real. That's like I said, it ties into equity. It ties into a lot of things when those. And so yeah, but we have to have those deep conversations and utilize all the resources. Like you said, you behavioral health. You not only that knowledge and perspective, but also the networks and connections you built while you were there to help you. Right? Hey, I know who to call. I know what program. I know, easy as that. So, I mean, it all ties in, like it all ties together. And so, but yeah, the pool, yeah, come on. Something's got to give. Like, at least give a Brawley discount on a Tuesday. I'll take it. I'll take it. No, but, no, yeah,
And
definitely.
those are great discussions to have. And I understand there is a fiscal responsibility. I completely understand that. But this is about having access and equity in regards to our community. We already are so limited on resources and fun and family activities that we have in our community. So if we have one, let's come up with a solution so that it truly is equitable. One of the concerns that I've been hearing is, for example, that it's a different cost for someone who is not a resident of the city of El Centro. So someone from Heber or Sealy, those are just examples, it's $8. And so those are the concerns that have been shared with me in regards to this should be an opportunity for all of our students to be able to access the swimming pool. Students from Heber and from Sealy are both feeder school districts. So they eventually will be a Southwest or a Central Union High School student. So they are our students. They do not belong, to anyone else than our own. So we need to hear those voices. So when parents are calling me and sending me messages about that being a concern about not being able to use the pool because of the cost put on families, that's a true indicator of what families are thinking and feeling. Like I said, I understand there is a cost. I completely understand that, but we also have a responsibility to problem solve. So what type of additional funding is available? Is there a community-based, grant out there? Is there additional funding? We are designated by the state as a low-income designated area. So there is funding that we can leverage from the state and the federal government that puts us first in line in regards to leveraging state and federal dollars because of our designation. So that is where we need to hold ourselves accountable, to look at funding outside of what we have, to be able to have some type of sustainability or maintain at least the fees or resources that are available at the lowest cost on our residents. So I think that's important. When I talk about being innovative, we have to really open up that lens and that scope in regards to how we see the work that we do in our community to be able to leverage additional dollars to come in. You and I know that. As educators, we have that responsibility to constantly look at, grants, community-based grants, additional services to be able to provide services to students. And so I think that same concept and that same strategy has to come across the board into city councils as well in taking a look at how we can leverage those dollars to assist our city budget.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just a school board member. I don't really consider myself an educator just because it's school board. But no,
Yes.
but someone in education, right? Like being in it, you do see those inequities. You see those, right? So when you see a price of $8 or price differential between different cities and these things, I don't know. Being in education, you're able to, I guess, I feel like gives you a really deep perspective on the inequities in our community and the disadvantaged families that the struggling family. You see the real struggles in
Yes.
education with our local families, and that's important to have on a board and that understanding and that perspective. And it's needed, and sometimes you only get it from in education. So
Yeah, and taking a look at where we are as a county, we are at about a 70% rate in regards to free and reduced lunch. So that already gives us a perspective that our community members, 70% of our community members are barely meeting that threshold in regards to meeting the free and reduced lunch income rate. So we already understand that. So we have that responsibility. We have that data. We have that information. So we know where families are. So now it becomes our responsibility to see how we can, meet that unmet gap or how to advocate and look for resources to be able to fill that unmet need. So absolutely, it is an access and an equity issue that we provide resources and opportunities for our residents.
Yeah, and the collaboration between schools and cities. I mean, that's like I feel like a bridge that needs to be established, not just locally, but I think across the country is, better coordination. Like I said, you're in education, right? So you have that network, once again, going to networks and the connections of individuals within our schools, working with families directly and students. Also with MANA, you have educators and educational professionals in that organization who assist. And then as a city council, you'll build that bridge. You'll build that collaboration, coordination. Schools are little microcosms of like the city, of the communities, right? And so, helping that schools will help the city at large. But we need to have more coordination and collaboration, and you bring that. I know you'll bring that. You don't even tell me. You're doing it with Mana. You're doing it already, and so I think that's what really excites me as a school board member, because I think I like to see that from more of our officials. Like I said, is someone who understands, who is in education, has that perspective, and is ready to bring it when elected. So.
Yeah, and Gil, the city of El Centro is the county seat. We are unique. We actually have 3 board of supervisors that represent our city. We have 2 IID directors. So the depth of the potential to really bring services to our city, to have those stakeholder meetings, to take a look at it from a collective voice and making those decisions, we have that mechanism in place. We just need to know how to leverage it and how to have those conversations, so that when we talk about a strategic plan, it's inclusive, from the board of supervisor level to the IID directors, to our school board directors and trustees and our school districts. We have the infrastructure. We just haven't had the opportunity to bring everyone together to have those types of discussions. And even past that discussion, it truly is about a strategic plan in regards to where we want to see the city of El Centro. And so that is what I want to bring. I'm a consensus builder. I want to have that opportunity that when we talk about growth, whether it's growth from a business perspective, economic stimulus, business recovery, healthcare system, that it is coming from a collective voice. We all have areas of expertise and specialties. So why are we not bringing all of these expertise and specialists together to give us a better view of what needs to happen to truly recover from this pandemic? Because that is the lens that we should be looking at in regards to moving forward. It requires action. It requires a strategic plan. In addition to that, we also know that there's going to be option A, B, and C, because there's going to be changes where we have to, adapt and move. But the one important thing that we have as a responsibility as a city council member is that we need to be the anchor to our city, so that residents feel that, one, we are being reactive, that we are bringing action, and that we're listening to our community members, and that we're ready to move forward with the plan. So that comes with, planning, trust, communication, and then executing a strategic plan to make sure that it's comprehensive and that it's inclusive of all the moving parts that it takes to make our city successful.
I think we're ending right there. That was good. I really thank you. I know I said let's talk 10 minutes, and it's already 6:30. So
thank you so much, Gil, for this opportunity and having me on your program to speak to your viewers. As we know, things are different right now in regards to how we communicate with our residents. So thank you for allowing me this platform and this space to be able to share my vision and my strategy in regards to being a city council member.